for just a second.
Okay, my eyes are closed.
Now, picture this. It is a hot summer night in 1968. You are sitting at a red light.
Oh, I like where this is going.
You are holding the steering wheel of a huge Ford Mustang. Or maybe a Dodge Charger.
A classic American muscle car.
Exactly. The light turns green, you push your foot down on the gas pedal, and you feel it before you hear it.
That deep, loud roar. Room.
Right. The whole car shakes. You smell gasoline. It is loud. It is probably terrible for the environment, but it feels like, well, absolute freedom.
It really is a very strong image. That sound, that shaky, it was the soundtrack of an entire era, a symbol of American culture.
It totally was. But now I want you to open your eyes and jump back to today, or maybe 5 years from now.
Okay, time traveling.
You are in a car, but you are not touching the steering wheel. In fact, nobody is driving.
And it is completely silent.
Dead silent. No vroom. And here is the crazy part. It is not just taking you to work. It is basically a giant battery on wheels. A battery that is selling electricity back to the city grid, like a Wall Street banker.
That is a wild picture. And that is exactly the massive shift we are doing a deep dive into today.
Yes, it is. Because cars are going through their biggest change since the very first Ford Model T.
We are not just moving from gas to electric. We are moving from simple machines to a world of global trade wars, smart computer math, and cars that power our houses.
To help us understand all this, we have a really great stack of research today. We have a very technical paper on self-driving cars and power grids.
Which is very heavy reading, by the way.
Very heavy. Plus, we have reports on international trade, how fast people are buying electric vehicles, and a look at Tesla's business secrets.
So our mission today is simple. We want to keep it easy to understand for you, the listener. We will connect the dots. How did we go from that loud V8 engine to a silent computer that buys and sells power?
Let us start with that loud roar, the muscle car era. In the 1960s and 70s, a car was not just about getting from point A to point B, right?
No, not at all. It was about who you were. The sources call these cars the American spirit.
Freedom on 4 wheels.
Exactly. It was all about having a huge engine. You had the Mustang, the Camaro, they looked aggressive. And most importantly, gas was very, very cheap.
Right. Nobody cared how much gas the car used. They just wanted to go fast.
But that fun party hit a wall, a very hard wall. Our research points to the 1970s oil crisis as the first pivot, or the first big change.
Suddenly, there was no cheap gas. People waited in long lines just to fill up their cars.
And the government had to step in. They made new rules saying cars had to use less fuel.
So the industry had to pivot. They had to stop focusing on power and start focusing on saving gas.
Yes. But here's the most important point from our sources. That first big change was because of fear. We were afraid of running out of oil.
Fear of an empty tank.
Exactly. But the change we are seeing right now, the second pivot, is totally different. It is not about running out of oil. It is driven by new technology and climate goals.
So even though you still see people driving loud sports cars today, trying to look cool, the research says they are basically dinosaurs.
They are holding on to the past. The big car companies are spending all their research money on software and batteries now, not on traditional engines.
Which brings us to the electric tipping point. In our research, I kept seeing this term, the S-curve.
Ah, yes.
The S-curve.
Can you explain that? Let's keep it really simple.
Sure. Imagine the letter S on a graph. At the bottom, it is flat. That means a new technology is growing very slowly. Nobody is buying it.
Like electric cars 10 years ago.
Right. But then the line goes straight up. That means suddenly everyone is buying it. And the report highlights a magic number for when that happens, 5%.
5% of all new cars sold.
Yes. Once a country hits 5% electric car sales, the barriers just melt away.
What kind of barriers? Like not finding charging stations or people thinking the cars are too weird. After 5%, growth explodes. It goes straight up.
And our sources say the US, China, and Europe have all crossed that magic 5% line.
They have. We're no longer in the early phase. We are in the mass market phase. Everyone is buying them.
But let me ask you this. Are people buying them just because they want to save the earth? Because usually people only care about saving money.
You are exactly right. The environment is a nice story, but money is the real reason. And the most shocking fact in our stack of research is about the batteries.
Oh, I know this one. The price drop.
Yes. Since 2010, the price of an electric vehicle battery has dropped by 89%.
89%. That is crazy. Car parts do not usually get that cheap that fast.
No, they do not. That is how computers drop in price, not cars. So an electric car is becoming just as cheap to build as a gas car.
But the reports say this did not happen by magic, right?
Right. The free market did not do this alone.
It is like solar panels for houses.
Exactly. Solar panels only got cheap because governments gave companies a lot of money subsidies to help them grow. The same thing happened with electric cars.
And we really cannot talk about this without talking about Tesla.
No, we cannot. They are the elephant in the room.
I found a detail in the reports about Tesla that really surprised me. Everyone thinks Elon Musk is a genius, or that the cars just look cool, but the report shows a secret government rule that actually saved the company.
You were talking about the ZEV credits.
Yes, ZEV, Zero Emission Vehicle Credits. This sounds like boring accounting, but it is actually a crazy story. Can you explain it simply?
I will try. So, the state of California has a rule. If a big car company sells cars there, a certain number of those cars must be electric, zero emissions.
Okay, that makes sense.
But if a company like Ford or General Motors does not have enough electric cars yet, they get in trouble, they have to pay a fine.
Oh, so they lose money.
Unless, and this is the trick, unless they buy credits from another company that has extra electric cars.
And Tesla only makes electric cars.
Exactly. Tesla had all the extra credits. So the report shows that California's rule forced the old gas car companies to pay Tesla over $2 billion in pure profit.
Wait, so the companies making the loud V8 muscle cars basically gave Tesla billions of dollars.
Yes. And many experts believe that without that money, Tesla would have gone bankrupt.
That is amazing. The old dinosaurs paid for the meteor that hit them.
That is a great way to put it. Policy changed the whole industry, and governments want to go faster. The goals are getting stricter.
They want 60% of all car sales to be zero emission by 2030, right?
Yes, and 100% by 2035.
That is moving very fast. But Tesla did not just survive on free government money. They totally changed how to sell a car. Our sources call it a blue ocean strategy.
I love this concept.
It sounds like a nice day at the beach.
Well, think of a red ocean first. A red ocean is full of sharks. They are all fighting and biting each other for the same little fish.
Blood in the water.
Right. That is the traditional car market. Ford, Toyota, Honda, all fighting to make a tiny profit on a normal, boring family car.
So what is a blue ocean?
A blue ocean is calm water with no sharks, no competition. Tesla didn't try to build a better family car. They built the Roadster, a very fast, very expensive electric sports car. Nobody else was doing that.
So they made electric cars look cool and rich first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they also use something called vertical integration.
Which means they do everything themselves, right?
Yes, very similar to Apple. They don't use regular car dealerships. They sell directly to you. They built their own charging stations.
The superchargers.
Right, and they build their own huge battery factories. But the biggest difference is the computer software.
Yeah, this part is wild to me. I drive an older gas car. The day I bought it, that was the best it will ever be. It only gets worse and slower every year.
It loses value. But a car built on software is different. Tesla and now other companies can send an update over the internet, just like updating your phone.
So you wake up and your car is suddenly better.
Exactly. The update might make the battery last longer, or make the brakes work better, or add a new video game to the screen. The car actually improves over time.
That completely changes why someone would buy a car. But let us zoom out a bit. The technology is cool, but our research includes a report from the International Trade Commission, and it sounds, well, a little scary.
They call it the global chessboard. This is about power and money between countries.
The report says the U.S. is squarely in the middle. That sounds like a polite way of saying the U.S. is losing the game.
It means the U.S. is vulnerable. The U.S. builds cars, but mostly just for Americans to buy. Germany and Japan sell cars all over the world. But the real giant waking up right now is China.
The sources say China just passed Japan to become the #1 auto exporter in the world.
It happened incredibly fast. And it is almost all because of electric vehicles. While the U.S. and Europe were arguing about whether electric cars were good or bad, China was busy.
Busy doing what?
Buying up the supply chain. They control the materials for the batteries, the lithium, the parts inside the battery. They own the recipe.
So the U.S. and Europe are getting scared, and they are putting up tariffs. Tariffs are taxes on stuff from other countries, right?
Yes. They're building a tax wall to keep Chinese cars out, to protect their own car makers. But trade routes are like water. They find a way around the wall.
And the report points out a huge backdoor. Mexico.
Exactly. The U.S. and Mexico have a trade agreement. If a car is built in Mexico, using enough local parts, it can cross into the U.S. with zero tax.
Free entry.
Right.
Mm.
So the fear is that Chinese companies will build factories in Mexico. They ship the parts there,
Mm.
build a car, put a Made in Mexico sticker on it, and drive it right past the U.S. tax wall.
That is a massive loophole. So it is secretly a Chinese car, but legally it is Mexican.
That is the worry.
Mm.
And it makes things very hard for the politicians. If you block Mexico, you hurt your friends, the economy. If you do nothing, your own car companies might go out of business.
But why should you, the listener, care about this trade war? Does this actually change your life?
It changes your wallet. Tariffs protect local jobs, sure, but the trade report says they make everything more expensive for the buyer. A car from Korea might suddenly cost $2,000 more. A Toyota might go up by $3,000.
So we just pay more money because of the protection tax.
We almost always do. And the U.S. companies buy a lot of their car parts from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So when a trade war starts, American companies actually suffer because their parts get more expensive.
Wow. Okay, we have covered the history, the cool tech, and the scary trade war. Now, I want to talk about the part of our research that honestly blew my mind.
The paper on the power grid.
Yes, it sounds like a science fiction movie, but it is real math.
This is the idea of cars as mobile power plants. It is very futuristic, but it solves a huge problem.
Let us explain the problem first. Our city power grids are stressed out. We want to use wind and solar power, but the wind stops blowing and the sun goes down at night.
Right. So we need to save that energy for later. We need storage. Usually we build huge, expensive buildings full of batteries just sitting there.
But this research paper has a different idea. Using autonomous unmanned vehicles, AUVs.
Basically, robo-taxis. Cars that drive themselves with no human inside.
So it is not just my personal car parked at my house.
No, because you need your car to go to the store or drive to work. This plan uses a whole fleet of robot cars owned by a computer program.
Let me make sure I understand this. It is 2 in the morning, the wind stops, the city needs power because everyone has their air conditioning on.
Okay, good scenario.
A central computer talks to 100 empty robotaxis. It says, hey, drive to this neighborhood and plug in. Give your battery power back to the city to keep the lights on.
You nailed it. The cars become a flexible, moving battery. Instead of building a brand new, expensive power plant, the city just drives the batteries right to the problem.
That is amazing. But wait, the math for that must be impossible. You have thousands of moving cars, millions of power lines, and it is all happening every second.
It is a mathematical nightmare. The paper calls it a non-convex problem.
Oh boy,
If
a
we-
non-convex problem. What does that mean in simple English?
Let us imagine you are hiking in the mountains. It is very foggy, you cannot see well, and your goal is to find the absolute lowest valley in the whole mountain range.
Okay, I am walking down.
If you just keep walking down, you might get stuck in a small ditch. You think it is the bottom, but it is not. A computer trying to route thousands of cars can easily get stuck in a small ditch like that. It finds a bad answer, and then traffic jams happen, or the city loses power.
That sounds really bad. But the paper talked about a math trick called McCormick relaxation. I will be honest, I did not understand it at all.
That is okay. Let us keep the mountain example. Think of McCormick relaxation as a giant iron that smooths out the whole mountain. It turns the bumpy mountain into the shape of a simple, smooth soup bowl.
A soup bowl.
Right. If you drop a small marble into a smooth bowl, where does it go?
It rolls straight to the very bottom, instantly.
Exactly. This math trick simplifies the crazy problem into a smooth bowl. So the computer can find the perfect answer, the very bottom, instantly, without getting stuck.
Oh, wow. So it takes an impossible problem and makes it simple enough for the computer to solve in real time.
Yes, it makes the science fiction idea actually work in real life.
And did it work in their tests?
It worked incredibly well. The study found that using these self-driving robotaxis could reduce the cost of running the city power grid by over 26%.
26%. That is a huge amount of money saved.
It is massive. It means cities do not have to build expensive new power plants because the cars themselves are the power plants.
This completely changes how I think about cars. At the start of this deep dive, we talked about the loud, emotional roar of the V8 engine, just burning gas for fun.
A very inefficient, expensive machine.
And we're ending with a silent, self-driving robot that balances the energy for a whole city.
It is two totally different worlds crashing together. Transportation and energy used to be separate. Now they're the same thing. The car is no longer just something you buy that loses money every day.
It becomes a tool that helps the whole city run. So, to you, our listener, what does this all mean? It means the next time you think about buying a car, It is not just about the engine or the color of the seats.
No, you have to think about the computer network you are joining.
And it leaves us with one really wild question to think about. If cars are basically just public power batteries in the future, maybe the whole idea of owning a car will disappear.
Just like the V8 engine. In 10 years, you might not own a car at all. You might just pay a monthly fee to subscribe to a network of moving batteries. And sometimes, you ride in one.
That is something crazy to think about the next time you plug in your phone or your car. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
See you next time.